My beloved child, I sent this to you privately, and I need you to understand that this moment is not an accident. You did not scroll here by chance. You did not stumble upon these words by coincidence. I guided you here. I arranged this quiet meeting between your heart and my voice. And I am asking you gently, but urgently, do not miss what I am placing before you. There has been something stirring inside you lately, hasn't there? A quiet nudge, a thought that returns when the room grows silent, a feeling that something is shifting, even if you cannot explain it. You have tried to brush it aside. You have told yourself it is nothing. But deep within, you know it is not nothing. It is me. I speak in ways that the world does not always recognize. I do not always shout over the noise. Often, I whisper beneath it. And my whispers are sacred. They are personal. They are intentional. When I send something to you privately, it carries weight, and carries purpose, and carries direction for your next step. My beloved, you have been praying for clarity. You have been asking for a sign, for confirmation, for something that feels direct and undeniable. And here you are, right now, reading words that feel as if they are reaching straight into your situation. That is not random. That is response. There are moments in your life that act like hinges on a door. They may seem small at first glance, but they change everything that comes after. This is one of those moments. The decisions you make after hearing my voice will shape what unfolds next. I say this not to pressure you, but to awaken you. There is something unfolding quietly in your life, and I do not want you to overlook it because it did not arrive wrapped in noise. You have been watching for dramatic change, for thunder and lightning. But sometimes, the most powerful shifts begin in stillness. Sometimes the seed is planted so gently that you almost miss the moment it enters the soil. Yet from that small beginning, entire forests grow. I'm doing something in you before I do something around you. I'm preparing your heart before I open the door. I'm strengthening your faith before I reveal the path. This private message is not merely information. It is invitation. Listen closely now, my beloved child. The urgency you feel is not fear. It is alignment. It is heaven drawing near. There is timing woven into this encounter. And while my plans for you are filled with grace, they also require attention. Do not drift past this moment. Do not silence the stirring within you. I sent this to you privately because it is personal. It is about your life, your season, your next step. And I am here, speaking softly but clearly. Do not miss it. My beloved child, I do not compete with the noise of the world. I do not wrestle for your attention with chaos, fear, or endless distraction. My voice is different. It is steady. It is calm. It carries peace even when it carries instruction. That is how you will know it is me. The world shouts. It demands urgency rooted in panic. It pushes you to move quickly out of fear of missing out, fear of falling behind, fear of not being enough. But when I speak, even if the message carries importance, it does not suffocate you. It draws you closer. It settles your breathing. It feels like truth resting gently on your shoulders. You have wondered before, was that really God? Or was that just my own thought? My beloved, I know the questions that pass through your mind. I see the way you analyze, the way you second guess, the way you try to measure spiritual things with logic alone. But listen carefully. I designed your inner world. I know how to reach you from within it. When I speak, it often feels like a knowing that rises quietly. Not force it. not frantic, yet steady, like a compass needle finding north. The more you lean into that stillness, the clearer my direction becomes. Imagine a lake early in the morning. When the wind is strong, the surface is disturbed, and you cannot see beneath it. But when the air grows calm, the water becomes clear, and you can see the depth below. Your spirit works in a similar way. When anxiety churns and distractions roar, it becomes difficult for you to recognize my whisper. But when you allow yourself to grow still, my reflection becomes visible in your thoughts. I have been speaking to you more often than you realize. Through a sudden idea that would not leave you alone. Through a gentle conviction that nudged you to pause before making a decision. Through a sense of peace about something that once terrified you. These are not accidents. These are invitations. My beloved child, you do not need to strain to hear me. I am not hiding from you. I am not testing you to see if you can decode some secret puzzle. I am a father who desires to guide his child. When you were young and learning to walk, you did not understand every instruction given to you. Yet your parents' voice was enough. It was familiar. It was safe. It was guiding you even before you understood the full picture. In the same way, my voice carries familiarity. It carries love. Even when I correct you, it does not crush you. Even when I redirect you, it does not shame you. If the voice you hear is condemning, harsh, and filled with accusation, that is not me. I lead with clarity and compassion. You have grown up in a world that values loud certainty, but my guidance often comes as quiet assurance, a subtle leading, a holy discomfort when you move in the wrong direction, a deep peace when you step toward what I am calling you into. Do not overlook the subtlety. The whisper is powerful precisely because it requires closeness. Noise can be heard from a distance, but a whisper draws you near. It creates intimacy. It invites relationship. And this is what I desire with you, my beloved. Not just obedience, but closeness. Not just action, but trust. When you begin to recognize the tone of my voice, you will find that even in crowded rooms, even in busy seasons, there is a thread of peace running through your heart. That thread is me. So when you feel that gentle stirring again, do not dismiss it. When a thought aligned with love, courage, and growth rises within you, do not silence it out of fear. When you sense that quiet pull guiding you away from harm or toward opportunity, pause and acknowledge it. I am speaking in ways the world cannot detect. I am guiding you in spaces others cannot see. And the more you learn to value the whisper, the less you will be shaken by the noise. Stay close, my beloved child. My voice is already nearer than you think. My beloved child, let us speak about that tug you have been feeling. You know the one. It comes in quiet moments, sometimes when you least expect it. It interrupts your routine thoughts. It lingers when you try to distract yourself. It is not loud, but it is persistent. And you have wondered whether to lean into it or to run from it. The tug is not anxiety. It is not random restlessness. It is invitation. There are seasons in your life when I allow comfort to feel slightly unsettled. Not to disturb you, not to harm you, but to awaken you. You have grown in the place where you are. You have learned what you needed to learn there. But now something inside you knows there is more. More depth, more alignment, more purpose, and that knowing feels like a gentle pull forward. You have tried to explain it away. You have told yourself, maybe I'm just overthinking. You have said, maybe I should just be grateful and stay where I am. Gratitude is beautiful, my child, but it does not mean stagnation. I did not create you to remain frozen in one chapter of your story. Think of a bird learning to fly. There comes a moment when the nest, once a place of safety, begins to feel too small. The sky calls softly. The bird does not hate the nest. It simply feels the pull of something greater. That pull can feel frightening because it leads into unknown air. But it is also natural. It is growth. The tug you feel is growth, pressing gently against fear. I am not pushing you off a cliff. I am guiding you toward wings you have not yet tested. And yes, there is uncertainty in stepping forward, but there is also expansion. There is discovery. There is strength waiting to be awakened. You sense that something in your life needs adjustment. Maybe it is a mindset you have carried for years. Maybe it is a relationship dynamic that no longer fits who you are becoming. Maybe it is a dream you buried because you were afraid to fail. Whatever it is, the tug is my way of drawing your attention to it. My beloved, I do not yank you forward. I do not drag you into change. I draw you. I invite you. I allow the discomfort of staying the same to gently outweigh the fear of moving ahead. Sometimes destiny does not knock loudly on the front door. Sometimes it taps quietly on the inside of your heart. And if you ignore it long enough, you may grow numb to its rhythm. That is why I sent this message. To remind you that the tug is sacred. It is not something to silence. It is something to explore. Ask yourself why certain thoughts keep returning. Ask yourself why certain paths keep appearing in your awareness. There is meaning there. I am not careless with repetition. When something aligns with your growth and your purpose, I allow it to circle back to you until you notice. You do not need to have every answer before you respond. You do not need to see the entire staircase before you take one step. The tug is not demanding perfection. It is asking for willingness. And I see the courage inside you, even when you doubt it. I see the quiet strength you have built through every challenge you have survived. You are not as fragile as you think. You are not as unprepared as fear tries to tell you. That inner pull is not meant to torment you. It is meant to guide you. It is the compass I placed within your spirit, pointing you toward alignment. When you move in harmony with it, you will feel peace settle over your decisions. When you move against it, you will feel resistance. Trust the tug, my beloved child. It is not here to confuse you. It is here to lead you into the next chapter I have been preparing for you all along. My beloved child, this message did not arrive in your life randomly. It came now because now is significant. Timing is something you often misunderstand. You measure it by calendars and clocks. I measure it by readiness, by growth, by the quiet strengthening of your heart. There were moments in your past when, if I had spoken this same message to you, it would have felt confusing or even overwhelming. You were not weak then. You were simply still becoming. Just as fruit cannot be rushed before its season, revelation cannot be forced before its time. I have been patient with you. I have allowed you to mature through experiences, through lessons, through both joy and disappointment. And now, you are standing in a different place than you were before. You have endured things that stretched you. You have prayed prayers that deepened you. You have survived moments that once felt impossible. All of that has prepared your heart to recognize what I am doing now. This is why the message feels personal. This is why it feels timely. It is meeting you at the exact point where preparation and opportunity are intersecting. You sometimes look at your life and think certain seasons were wasted. You think of delays and detours as lost time. But my beloved, nothing in your journey has been wasted. Even the pauses had purpose. Even the waiting had weight. Roots were growing beneath the surface while you thought nothing was happening. Consider a tree in winter. From the outside, it appears still and lifeless. No leaves, no visible growth. Yet beneath the soil, the root system continues to deepen. It strengthens itself for the coming season of bloom. If the tree were to blossom too early, it would not survive the frost. Timing protects what I am growing in you. There were doors you once wanted desperately to open. You knocked. You opened. You even begged. And when they did not open, you felt confused. Some of those doors remained closed because you were not yet ready for what was on the other side. Others stayed shut because they would have led you somewhere misaligned with your purpose. Now, however, something is shifting. You may not see dramatic change yet. You may not hear loud announcements. But in the spirit, alignment is taking place. Circumstances are rearranging. Conversations are being positioned. Opportunities are drawing nearer. And all of it is unfolding at a pace that matches your readiness. I do not rush what I am building in you. I also do not delay it unnecessarily. When the moment arrives, it arrives with intention. And this is one of those moments. You have sensed it, haven't you? The subtle awareness that the season is changing. Certain habits no longer satisfy you. Certain fears no longer hold the same power. Certain dreams you once dismissed are returning with quiet strength. This is not coincidence. This is transition. My beloved child, when I move, I often do so quietly at first, like the first light of dawn before the sun fully rises. You might not notice the exact second darkness begins to fade, but gradually the world becomes illuminated. That is how this season will unfold for you. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be for what is coming next. The growth you have experienced has positioned you perfectly for this shift. What once would have overwhelmed you will now refine you. What once would have frightened you will now stretch you. Trust the timing. Trust the process that has shaped you. Trust that I would not bring this message to you unless your heart was ready to receive it. This is why it found you now. Not yesterday. Not months from now. Now. Because you are ready to step into what I have been preparing for you all along. My beloved child, there is a blessing hidden in obedience, and I want you to see it clearly. Obedience is not about control. It is not about losing yourself. It is about alignment. It is about stepping into harmony with the path I have lovingly prepared for you. So often, you imagine obedience as something heavy, something that costs you comfort without promising anything in return. But true obedience is like placing a key into a lock that was designed specifically for it. The door does not resist. The mechanism responds. The path opens. There are moments in your life when the next step seems small, almost insignificant. A conversation you feel prompted to have. A boundary you sense you must set. A risk you are being invited to take. These actions may appear ordinary on the surface, but they carry weight in the unseen. Small acts of obedience create shifts you cannot yet measure. Imagine standing before a massive gate, tall and intimidating. You assume that something dramatic will be required to open it. Strength, divorce, a grand gesture. But in your hand is a small key. It looks almost too simple. Yet when you place it into the lock and turn it, the entire gate swings open effortlessly. My beloved, obedience is that key. You do not have to break down doors in your own strength. You do not have to manipulate outcomes. You do not have to chase what I have already positioned for you. But when I whisper a direction into your heart, when I nudge you toward a step, your response matters. Delay often comes not from my unwillingness to bless, but from hesitation in movement. Not because I withdraw love, but because alignment requires cooperation. When you move in step with me, grace flows differently. Things that once felt blocked begin to shift. Clarity increases. Confidence grows. This does not mean the path will always be effortless. Growth still stretches you. Change still asks for courage. But obedience ensures you are walking within protection. Even when challenges arise, they will refine you instead of derail you. You fear sometimes that if you obey, you might lose something. But I ask you gently, what if obedience is not about loss but about release? Release of what no longer fits your future. Release of what has been weighing you down. Release of paths that would have led to regret. When I ask you to step forward, it is never to diminish you. It is to elevate you. When I guide you away from something, it is not to punish you. It is to protect you. Think of a child learning to cross a busy street. The parent's instruction to stop, to wait, to look both ways, is not restrictive. It is protective. It ensures safe passage. In the same way, my guidance guards your destiny. You are standing before moments that require response. Not dramatic declarations, but quiet decisions. And those decisions are shaping the landscape of your next season. Do not underestimate the power of a simple yes. A yes to growth. A yes to courage. A yes to letting go. A yes to trusting me even when the full picture is not visible. Every great transformation begins with a small act of faith. Every open door begins with a turned key. My beloved child, I am not asking you to leap blindly. I am asking you to trust deeply. I see beyond the bend in the road. I know where each step leads. When I prompt you, it is because the timing is right and the path is prepared. The blessing is not just waiting at the destination. It is woven into the obedience itself. Peace begins to settle in you the moment you align. Strength rises within you the moment you act. And the doors that once seemed immovable begin to respond. Take the key I have placed in your hand. Do not ignore it because it seems small. Turn it. Watch what opens. My beloved child, I see how fear has tried to distract you. I see the quiet battles that rise in your thoughts when you begin to consider moving forward. Fear does not always appear as panic. Sometimes it disguises itself as logic. Sometimes it sounds reasonable. Sometimes it whispers, wait a little longer, or what if you fail? Or what if this is not really from God? Fear's goal is not always to stop you completely. Often, it simply tries to delay you. It hopes you will overthink long enough to talk yourself out of alignment. You have felt the tension, haven't you? The moment inspiration rises in your heart, fear quickly follows with questions. The moment peace begins to settle, doubt attempts to interrupt it. This pattern is not new. It has followed you before every breakthrough. It stood at the edge of every opportunity. It tried to convince you that safety meant staying small. But my beloved, fear is not your protector. I am. Fear magnifies risk and minimizes possibility. It shows you everything that could go wrong and hides everything that could go right. It paints the unknown as dangerous, even when the unknown holds your growth. Think of a traveler standing at the edge of a bridge covered in fog. From where they stand, they cannot see the other side clearly. Fear tells them the bridge may collapse. Fear tells them they should stay where they are because at least it is familiar. But what fear does not reveal is that the bridge has already been secured. The path has already been reinforced. The destination has already been prepared. You do not see what I see. When you begin to step toward what I am calling you into, fear grows louder because it senses change. It senses movement, and change threatens the comfort of stagnation. But listen carefully, my child. Fear is a feeling, not a prophecy. Just because you feel uncertain does not mean you are unsafe. Just because you feel nervous does not mean you are unprepared. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement despite it. I have never asked you to be fearless. I have asked you to trust me. Gut shifts your focus. Instead of asking, what if this goes wrong? Trust asks, what if God is guiding me? Instead of asking, what if I am not enough? Trust remembers, God is with me. You have overcome fear before. There were times in your past when you thought you could not survive what was ahead. Yet here you are, stronger, wiser, still standing. The same strength that carried you then remains within you now. Fear tries to isolate you, to make you feel alone in your decisions. But you are not walking this path by yourself. I go before you. I walk beside you. I stand behind you. You are surrounded by my presence in ways you cannot fully see. And understand this. If I am leading you somewhere, I will also sustain you there. I do not guide you into places where my grace cannot reach. When fear begins to speak, do not argue with it endlessly. Do not let it dominate your thoughts. Acknowledge it, then return your focus to me. Return to the peace that settles quietly beneath the noise. Return to the truth that you are loved and guided and protected. The enemy of your progress would prefer you distracted, or thinking, hesitating. But distraction loses its power when you become aware of it. You are not fragile, my beloved child. You are growing, and growth often feels uncomfortable at first. But discomfort is not danger. It is stretching. Let fear fade into the background. Let trust step forward. I am not leading you into harm. I am leading you into alignment. And no whisper of doubt can overpower the strength of my guidance in your life. My beloved child, while you have been worrying about what you can see, I have been working in what you cannot see. There are movements happening beyond your vision, adjustments taking place behind closed doors, alignments forming quietly in the background of your life. You may feel as though nothing is changing, but that is only because the roots grow in silence. You are accustomed to measuring progress by visible signs. You look for immediate results, clear evidence, obvious shifts. But some of my greatest works begin underground. Just as a seed must first break open in darkness before it ever touches the light, so too must your next season be prepared where you cannot observe it. You have prayed for change. You have asked me to move. And when the answer did not appear quickly, you wondered if I heard you. My beloved, I hear every word spoken from your heart. I do not ignore your cries. I do not delay without reason. Often, when you think I am silent, I'm simply building foundations strong enough to hold the blessing you asked for. Think of a builder constructing a house. Before walls rise and windows are placed, there must be groundwork. Digging, leveling, reinforcing. From the outside, it may look like nothing more than a patch of disturbed earth. But beneath that surface, strength is being established. In the same way, I have been reinforcing areas of your character. I have been teaching you patience where you once rushed. I have been teaching you discernment where you once trusted too quickly. I have been deepening your resilience where you once would have given up. These quiet lessons are not random. They are preparation. You sometimes compare your journey to others and wonder why their progress seems more visible. But what you cannot see is their hidden struggles, just as they cannot see your hidden growth. I am not rushing your story to match someone else's timeline. Your path is uniquely crafted. Your preparation is specifically designed. There are conversations happening about you that you know nothing about. There are opportunities being positioned that have not yet reached your awareness. There are people being stirred in their hearts who will one day cross your path at exactly the right time. I am weaving threads together in ways that would overwhelm you if you tried to comprehend them all at once. Trust that when the moment comes for the door to open, it will open at the precise time that benefits you most. Not too early, not too late. You may feel like you are in a waiting season, but waiting is not wasting. Waiting is refining. Waiting is strengthening your capacity to receive what is coming. Consider a farmer planting seeds. After sowing them into the soil, there is a period where nothing appears above ground. If the farmer grows impatient and digs up the soil to check for progress, the growth is disrupted. The seed needs time, pressure, and darkness to transform. My beloved, you are in that sacred underground moment. Transformation is happening. You are being prepared for responsibilities you have not yet imagined, for influence you do not yet see, for blessings that require stability beneath them. Do not mistake stillness for absence. Do not mistake silence for inactivity. I am active in places your eyes cannot reach. And when what I have been arranging begins to reveal itself, you will look back and understand why certain delays were necessary. You will see how every piece was positioned with care. You will recognize that nothing was random. Rest in this truth. I am rearranging things behind the scenes. I am working on your behalf. I am building what you cannot yet perceive. Your only task right now is to trust. Stay faithful in the present. Stay attentive to my whisper. A visible breakthrough will come, but first the invisible foundation must be complete. I am not idle. I am intentional. And I am preparing something beautiful for you. My beloved child, this is not for everyone. It is for you. I speak to many, but I am speaking to you right now in a way that is personal, intentional, and precise. I know the details of your story that no one else fully understands. I know the silent questions you carry. I know the private battles you fight behind closed doors. And because I know you so deeply, the message I send to you is shaped by your life, your wounds, your calling. You sometimes feel unseen in the crowd. You wonder if your struggles are too small to matter or too complicated to explain. But nothing about you is overlooked. Not your tears, not your fears, not your dreams that you barely dare to admit out loud. I see all of it. This message found you because it carries something your heart has been waiting to hear. There are millions of voices in the world, countless messages moving across screens and through conversations. Yet something about this moment feels as though it pierced through the noise and reached you directly. That is not coincidence. That is care. I tailor my guidance to the individual. Just as a shepherd knows each sheep by name, recognizing their patterns, their strengths, and their weaknesses, I know you intimately. I do not speak to you as a number. I do not address you as a general audience. I call you my beloved child because that is who you are. The struggles you face are not identical to anyone else's. The way fear tries to approach you may look different from how it approaches another. The insecurities that whisper to you have a specific tone. The dreams stirring in you have a unique shape. And so my guidance meets you exactly where you are. Perhaps you have been carrying a burden that you do not share easily. Maybe you smile in public while quietly wrestling with doubt in private. Maybe you feel strong for others but uncertain when you are alone. I see that contrast. I see the weight you try to manage with grace. and I am not disappointed in you for feeling what you feel. Sometimes you think that because others appear confident or steady, your own vulnerability is a weakness. But vulnerability is not weakness. It is honesty. It is the doorway through which healing enters. This message is not generic encouragement. It is a reminder that your life matters specifically. The direction I am guiding you toward is not interchangeable with someone else's path. It is crafted for you. Think of a key carved precisely for one lock. It cannot open every door, but it opens the one it was designed for perfectly. In the same way, your gifts, your experiences, even your scars, fit into a purpose uniquely yours. You have questioned whether you are truly capable of stepping into what is ahead. You have wondered whether you are strong enough, wise enough, worthy enough. My beloved, you would not be hearing this if you were not being prepared for it. I do not awaken desire in you without intention. I do not stir growth in you without direction. The fact that something resonates in your spirit right now is evidence of alignment. This is for you. Not to overwhelm you, but to reassure you. Not to single you out in pressure, but to single you out in love. You are known. You are guided. You are not wandering aimlessly. Even when others misunderstand your process, I understand it. Even when you struggle to explain why you feel called towards something new, I understand it. I am the one who placed that call within you. Receive this personally. Do not deflect it. Do not assume it is meant more for someone else. Let it settle into your heart as something crafted with you in mind. Because it was, and I am walking with you in every step that follows. My beloved child, a door is quietly opening before you. It is not swinging wide with noise and spectacle. It is not demanding attention with flashing signs. It is opening softly, almost gently, as if waiting to see whether you will notice. And I am drawing your eyes toward it now so you do not walk past what has been prepared for you. You have been expecting something dramatic. You thought that when your next opportunity arrived, it would be obvious and unmistakable. But many of my most important doors begin as subtle shifts. A new thought pattern, a fresh desire, an unexpected conversation, a chance encounter, a small opportunity that seems almost ordinary. Do not overlook the ordinary. I often hide extraordinary beginnings within it. Imagine walking down a long hallway lined with doors. Some are large and decorated, promising excitement and recognition. Others are simple, unadorned, easy to miss. The decorated doors may attract your attention first, but the door I am opening for you may be the quiet one. It may not impress everyone around you. It may not come with applause, but it carries alignment. Alignment matters more than applause. The door opening before you aligns with who you are becoming, not who you used to be. That is why it feels both peaceful and slightly intimidating. Peaceful because it resonates deeply within you. Intimidating because it calls you forward into growth. You may be tempted to wait for a louder sign. You may tell yourself, if this is really from God, it will be undeniable. But sometimes undeniability comes through repeated gentle nudges rather than dramatic events. The same idea returning. The same opportunity resurfacing. The same inner excitement stirring again and again. That repetition is not random. It is invitation. The door is not forcing itself open. I do not force my children into their future. I reveal it and allow them to respond. You still have choice. You still have agency. But I am illuminating what hath been placed before you. Perhaps the door looks like a new responsibility. Perhaps it looks like releasing something that has grown too tight around your heart. Perhaps it looks like forgiving someone you thought you never could. Perhaps it looks like stepping into a calling you once doubted. Whatever form it takes, pay attention to the peace that accompanies it. My guidance carries a quiet steadiness. Even if your mind races with questions, your spirit will feel a calm thread woven through the possibility. That calm thread is my confirmation. You may not see where the door leads in full detail. The room beyond it might still appear shadowed from where you stand. But you do not need to see the entire room before you step through the doorway. Light increases as you move forward. If you remain standing in the hallway, analyzing endlessly, the door will not disappear, but your hesitation may delay the growth waiting on the other side. My beloved child, you have prayed for movement. You have asked for direction. And now direction stands before you quietly. This is not a trap. It is not a trigger. It is not something designed to embarrass you or overwhelm you. It is progression. It is the next layer of your becoming. Do not let distraction pull your gaze away. Do not let doubt convince you that it is safer to stay where you are. The hallway of comfort may feel familiar, but the doorway of alignment leads to expansion. Pause. Breathe. Lotus. The door is opening, and I am standing beside you, ready to walk through it together. My beloved child, now you stand at the moment of decision. You have felt the tug. You have sensed the shift. You have noticed the quiet door opening. And now comes the sacred space where intention becomes action. This is not a moment for pressure. It is a moment for courage. Decision is powerful. It is the line between staying where you are and stepping into what is next. It may look small from the outside. Others may not even notice when you make it. But in the unseen realm of your growth, it is monumental. You do not need to leap 10 steps ahead. You only need to take one faithful step. Sometimes you imagine that transformation requires dramatic gestures. But more often, it begins with a quiet internal yes. A yes that says, I will trust. A yes that says, I will move even if I feel unsure. A yes that says, I believe God is guiding me. That yes shifts something within you. It aligns your will with my direction. And when alignment happens, grace begins to flow in new ways. You may still feel traces of fear. You may still have unanswered questions. That does not disqualify you. Faith is not the absence of uncertainty. It is the choice to move forward despite it. Think of a traveler beginning a journey at dawn. The entire road is not illuminated at once. Only the stretch immediately ahead is visible. Yet with each step, more of the path becomes clear. If the traveler refuses to move until the whole road is revealed, the journey never begins. My beloved child, I am not asking you to solve your entire future today. I am asking you to respond to what you already know. You know what has been stirring in your heart. You know the area where you need to grow. You know the conversation you have been avoiding. You know the dream you keep revisiting. Decision is the bridge between awareness and manifestation. And I am with you on that bridge. You will not fall if you trust me. You will not be abandoned halfway through. I do not call my children forward only to leave them unsupported. My strength meets you in motion. This is your moment to step toward alignment. To choose growth over comfort. To choose trust over hesitation. It does not have to be loud. It does not have to be public. It simply has to be sincere. Say yes in your heart. Say yes to the direction I am revealing. Say yes to the door I am opening. Say yes to the version of you that is ready to emerge. And as you take this step, know that you are not walking alone. I walk before you, preparing the way. I walk beside you, steadying your pace. I walk behind you, guarding what you leave behind. This decision will echo into your future. It will shape what unfolds next. And years from now, you may look back at this quiet moment and realize it was the turning point. So breathe deeply, my beloved child. Let peace anchor you. Let courage rise within you. And take the step. I am already waiting on the other side of your yes. As you step into this decision, I am also calling others into their moment through this very message. When you sow into this work through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link placed in the description, and even in the QR code within this video, you are not giving to a channel. You are planting seeds into souls. I have said that when seed is sown in good soil, it produces a harvest beyond what the eye can see, and your generosity becomes light in someone else's darkness. This is your moment to say, Father, use me to carry your whisper further. When you give, you become part of the river that carries my word to the weary, the oil that keeps the lamp burning for the lost. Do not see it as a transaction. See it as obedience to a holy stirring. There are hearts waiting for the very message that strengthened you today. As you release your seed, I release blessing over your provision, your household, and your future. What you place in my hands multiplies. Step into this act with faith, and let your giving become a prophetic declaration that my voice will not be silenced. Act now, and sow boldly into the harvest I am gathering. My beloved child, you asked me for a sign. There were nights when you lay awake, whispering into the quiet, God, show me. Make it clear. I just need to know. There were moments when you felt uncertain and you prayed, if this is you, confirm it. You may have forgotten some of those prayers, but I have not. I hold every word you speak to me with care. And now here you are. You asked for direction, and direction is unfolding. You asked for clarity, and clarity is rising gently within you. You asked for reassurance, and peace is beginning to settle where confusion once ruled. Sometimes you expect a sign to be dramatic. You imagine something unmistakable, something that removes all doubt in an instant. But my beloved, often the clearest signs are the ones that resonate deeply rather than loudly. They do not shock you. They align with you. This message, this stirring, this repeated confirmation you keep encountering, it is not coincidence. It is response. When you pray, I listen. When you seek, I respond. But my answers do not always come in the packaging you anticipate. You may have expected a sudden external shift, yet instead I am speaking directly to your heart. You may have looked for something visible, yet I am strengthening something invisible within you. A sign does not always eliminate faith. Sometimes it invites deeper trust. Think of a lighthouse on a dark shore. It does not remove the ocean. It does not calm every wave instantly, but it provides direction. It reassures the sailor that land is near and guidance is present. In the same way, the confirmations you are receiving are guiding lights. They do not remove every unknown, but they illuminate your next step. You have noticed patterns, haven't you? Certain words appearing repeatedly. Certain themes surfacing in conversation. Certain ideas returning to your thoughts. This is not random repetition. This is reinforcement. I am gentle in my confirmations. I do not overwhelm you with pressure. I allow the message to circle back to you until it feels familiar, until it feels steady, until you recognize my hand in it. You asked me to make it clear. Clarity does not always mean complexity dissolves instantly. It means your spirit begins to feel settled about the direction ahead. And even now, beneath your questions, there is a subtle peace forming. At peace is your sign. My beloved child, I delight in responding to your prayers. I am not distant from your concerns. I am not indifferent to your confusion. Every time you reach toward me, I move toward you. You wondered if you were being heard. You wondered if your prayers were floating into emptiness. But here is the truth. Nothing you whisper to me is wasted. Even the prayers spoken through tears, even the ones spoken in frustration, even the ones spoken in doubt, I receive them all. This moment is part of your answer. You are not imagining the shift you feel. You are not inventing the guidance you sense. I am confirming what I have been stirring within you. And the more you lean into it, the stronger the confirmation will become. Trust what resonates deeply in your spirit. Trust the peace that quietly anchors you. Trust that the one who formed you also knows how to guide you. You asked for a sign, and I am giving it to you now, not through thunder, but through clarity. Not through spectacle, but through steady reassurance. I am speaking. I am guiding. I am answering. And my beloved child, I am not finished with you yet. My beloved child, what you thought was delay was often protection. There were doors that closed in front of you, and you stood there confused. You questioned your worth. You wondered if you had done something wrong. You asked me why something you prayed for so sincerely did not unfold the way you hoped. In those moments, it felt like rejection. It felt like loss. It felt like silence. But I need you to see it differently now. Not every closed door is punishment. Not every delay is denial. Sometimes, it is mercy you do not yet recognize. Imagine a traveler determined to take a certain road because it looks shorter and easier. From their perspective, it seems perfect. But from above, I can see that the bridge ahead is unstable. I can see the storm forming in the distance. If I block that path, the traveler may feel frustrated. They may accuse me of holding them back. But what I am truly doing is keeping them from harm. My beloved, there were paths you begged to walk that would have exhausted you. There were relationships you wished would continue that would have slowly diminished your spirit. There were opportunities you thought you missed that would have led you into burdens you were never meant to carry. I was not withholding joy from you. I was preserving it. It is easy to celebrate open doors. It is harder to trust closed ones. But both are forms of guidance. Both are expressions of care. You have grown through disappointments you did not understand at the time. What once felt like heartbreak has, in hindsight, become clarity. What once felt like failure has quietly redirected you toward something better suited for who you are becoming. You are not the same person you were when those doors shut. You have matured. You have learned. You have developed strength and discernment. And some of that growth happened precisely because certain things did not work out. Think of a sculptor shaping stone. At first, the chisel feels harsh. Pieces fall away. The original block loses its familiar form. But with each removal, the sculpture becomes clearer. The shaping is not destruction. It is refinement. The delays in your life have shaped you. They have slowed you down enough to notice patterns. They have given you time to heal wounds that would have followed you into the next season. They have prevented you from building your future on unstable foundations. There were moments when you thought I was distant because things were not moving quickly. But I was closer than you realized. I was adjusting details you could not see. I was redirecting conversations. I was strengthening you quietly. You do not always understand my no in the moment. But often later, you look back and whisper, "Thank you." Not because it was easy, but because you can now see the wisdom in it. My beloved child, release the belief that delay means to savor. Release the fear that a closed door means you are forgotten. I am not delaying your destiny. I am designing it carefully. And now, as you sense new doors beginning to open, you can step forward with greater confidence. Because you know that if something is not meant for you, I will block it. And if something is aligned with your growth, I will sustain it. Trust that what did not happen was just as important as what will happen. Trust that the pauses were purposeful. Trust that the protection was real. You were not being denied. You were being guided. And everything I allowed, and everything I prevented, has been working together for your good. My beloved child, your weariness has not gone unnoticed. There are days when you carry yourself with strength, when you fulfill responsibilities, meet expectations, and smile for others. But beneath that steady surface, there are moments of exhaustion that few people see. The quiet fatigue of holding it together, the emotional weight of thinking deeply, caring deeply, trying deeply. I see it all. I see the nights when your mind would not rest. I see the prayers you whispered when you felt like you had nothing left to give. I see the silent tears you wiped away before facing the world again. You may feel unnoticed in those moments, but you are not invisible to me. Weariness does not mean weakness. It means you have been carrying much. You have endured disappointments that you never fully processed. You have adapted to changes that stretched you beyond comfort. You have shown up for others even when your own heart needed reassurance. That kind of strength is beautiful, but it can also be draining. My beloved child, I am not asking you to pretend you are not tired. I am inviting you to rest in me. Rest is not surrendering your purpose. It is restoring your capacity to fulfill it. Even the strongest runner must pause to breathe. Even the brightest flame needs oil to keep burning. Without renewal, even passion can begin to feel heavy. You sometimes feel guilty for being tired. You compare yourself to others and wonder why they seem more energetic, more resilient. But you do not see their hidden struggles, just as they do not see yours. Every heart carries its own journey. Come to me with your exhaustion. Do not hide it. Do not mask it with forced positivity. I am not disappointed by your fatigue. I am compassionate toward it. Imagine a child who has been walking a long distance. At first, they are excited and energetic, but eventually, their steps slow, their shoulders droop. A loving parent does not scold them for being tired. The parent lifts them, carries them, or allows them to rest. I am that father to you. There are seasons when you walk strongly on your own, and there are seasons when I carry you more than you realize. You do not have to prove your strength to me. I already know your resilience. I already know your heart. Let yourself breathe. Release the pressure to solve everything at once. Release the expectation that you must always be the strong one. Strength is not about never needing rest. It is about knowing where to find renewal. Spend time in stillness. Not to accomplish something, not to achieve something, but simply to be with me. In stillness, your soul begins to exhale. In quiet moments, clarity returns. In my presence, heaviness lightens. You have been fighting battles you rarely speak about. Internal battles, emotional battles, questions about your direction and your worth. I see the effort it has taken to keep going, and I am proud of you, not for perfection, but for persistence. But persistence must be balanced with restoration. I am pouring strength back into you even now. Strength that does not come from striving but from surrender. Strength that does not depend on applause but on alignment. Strength that grows quietly when you allow yourself to lean on me. You are not falling behind because you are tired. You are human, and I designed you to need renewal. Lay your burdens down in my presence. Lay down the expectations. Lay down the fear of disappointing others. Lay down the pressure to have all the answers. You do not have to carry everything alone. I am here, and I am restoring you gently, patiently, completely. My beloved child, I am restoring your confidence. Life has a way of shaking your certainty. Words spoken carelessly by others can linger longer than they should. Failures can echo louder in your memory than your victories. Comparisons can quietly erode your sense of worth. And over time, without even realizing it, you begin to question yourself. You begin to wonder if you are truly capable. You begin to hesitate before stepping forward. You begin to shrink in spaces where you were meant to stand tall. But listen to me now. Your confidence was never meant to be built on the approval of others. It was never meant to depend on flawless performance. True confidence grows from knowing who you are in me. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are not limited by your past. You are not disqualified by moments when you stumbled. Every person who has ever grown into strength has first walked through uncertainty. Think of a child learning to walk. They fall many times. They wobble. They reach for support. But the falling does not mean they are incapable of walking. It means they are in the process of learning. And with each attempt, their balance improves. You have fallen in some areas. You have tried and not always succeeded. But those experiences have not weakened you. They have trained you. They have refined your discernment. They have deepened your resilience. Somewhere along the way, doubt began speaking louder than truth. You started replaying your shortcomings more than your growth. You focused on what you lacked instead of what you had already overcome. I am shifting that perspective. Confidence is not arrogance. It is quiet assurance. It is the steady awareness that you are guided, supported, and capable of growth. It does not require you to boast. It simply allows you to move forward without constant self-criticism. You were created with intention. Your strengths are not accidental. Your gifts are not random. Even the challenges you have faced have shaped abilities within you that you may not fully recognize yet. When you step into new opportunities, you sometimes feel unqualified. You tell yourself, maybe someone else could do this better. But you forget that I do not call people who are already perfect. I strengthen those who are willing. You do not need to have everything figured out to begin. You only need to trust that you are not alone. Confidence rooted in me does not crumble when circumstances shift. It does not vanish when criticism arises. It remains steady because it is anchored in identity, not performance. My beloved child, you are stronger than you think. You are wiser than you give yourself credit for. You have survived seasons that once seemed impossible. That alone is evidence of resilience. Let go of the narrative that you are behind. Release the belief that you have missed your chance. Stop replaying the moments when you fell short. Begin noticing the ways you have grown. I am rebuilding your self-trust. I am restoring the courage to speak up, to step out, to try again. The hesitation that once held you back is loosening its grip. Stand upright in who you are becoming. Not because you are flawless, but because you are guided. Not because you never fail, but because you continue rising. When you walk into the next chapter of your life, walk with your head lifted. Walk with quiet strength. Walk knowing that the one who formed you also walks with you. Your confidence is not something you must force. It is something I am nurturing within you. And as it grows, you will begin to move differently. Speak differently. Decide differently. Because you will remember who you are. And my beloved child, you are far more capable than you have allowed yourself to believe. My beloved child, you are in a season of private preparation. It may not look impressive from the outside. It may not earn applause or recognition. In fact, there are days when it feels hidden, almost invisible. But hidden does not mean insignificant. What is being formed in secret often carries the greatest strength. There are moments in your life that are meant for public celebration, and there are seasons meant for quiet development. Right now, much of your growth is happening beneath the surface. Think of a seed planted deep in the soil. When it is first buried, it disappears from sight. If someone judged only by what they could see, they might assume nothing is happening. But beneath the darkness, transformation begins. The outer shell cracks. Roots push downward. Structure forms before any sign of life breaks through the ground. You are in that sacred underground space. The cracking you feel is not destruction. It is expansion. Parts of your old thinking are breaking apart. Old fears are losing their hold. Old habits are being challenged. This process can feel uncomfortable because it disrupts familiarity, but it is making room for growth. Private preparation requires patience. It asks you to continue showing up even when there is no visible reward. It asks you to trust that the effort you are putting into yourself, into your faith, into your character, is not wasted. You may look around and see others stepping into visible success while you feel as though you are still preparing. But preparation is not delay. It is strengthening. If growth happens too quickly without deep roots, the first strong wind can uproot it. I am building depth in you. Depth of character. Depth of wisdom. Depth of discernment. These qualities are not developed in a moment. They are formed through quiet reflection, through lessons learned, through small daily decisions that no one else notices. Perhaps you have been refining your discipline. Perhaps you have been learning to manage your emotions more carefully. Perhaps you have been practicing courage in small, unseen ways. These are not minor adjustments. They are foundational. When the time comes for what you have been preparing for, you will stand on solid ground. You will not be easily shaken because your roots will be secure. Do not despise the hidden season. Do not rush it. There is beauty in being shaped away from the spotlight. In the quiet, you can hear my voice more clearly. In the stillness, you can recognize areas that need healing. In solitude, your identity becomes less dependent on external validation. You are being strengthened internally before being elevated externally. And this is a gift. Public opportunities can magnify whatever already exists within you. If insecurity remains unaddressed, it grows louder under pressure. If character is unstable, it weakens under scrutiny. But when preparation hath been thorough, elevation becomes sustainable. I am not in a hurry with you because I care too deeply about your future. I would rather take time to build you well than rush you into something you are not ready to sustain. Trust that this quiet season is meaningful. Trust that even when progress feels slow, growth is occurring. Trust that the discipline you are developing now will support the opportunities ahead. You are not overlooked. You are being refined. Stay faithful in the small things. Stay consistent in the unseen efforts. Stay attentive to my guidance in the quiet. The seed does not remain underground forever. There comes a moment when it breaks through the surface, strong and ready. And when that moment arrives for you, it will not feel sudden. It will feel earned. It will feel aligned. It will feel supported by everything you endured in private. My beloved child, your preparation is not punishment. It is positioning. And I am carefully shaping you for what is to come. My beloved child, you are closer than you think. I know there are days when it feels like you are still far away from the breakthrough you have been praying for. You look at your circumstances and see unfinished business. You see loose ends. You see challenges that have not yet resolved. And it is easy to assume that because everything is not complete, nothing is near. But progress is not always loud. Often, it gathers quietly, just beneath the surface until one final step shifts everything. Think of someone climbing a mountain wrapped in mist. With each step upward, the view remains unclear. The summit seems distant because the clouds hide how far they have already come. But when the fog finally lifts, they realize they were only a few steps away from the peak. That is where you are now. You have endured more than you give yourself credit for. You have grown in ways you do not always recognize. The habits you have been building, the boundaries you have been learning to set, the courage you have been practicing in small moments, these have been lifting you higher, even when you felt stuck. Discouragement tries to convince you that you are still at the beginning. It whispers that because the finish line is not visible, you must not be close. But I see the full path. I see how far you have climbed. I see how near you are to the shift you have longed for. There is often a point in every journey where the temptation to turn back feels strongest. It happens just before breakthrough. Fatigue increases. Doubt grows louder. The desire for relief becomes intense. And in that moment, many give up because they assume the effort is not worth it. But you are not where you started. If you were to return to the mindset you once had, you would notice how much stronger you are now. If you were to face an old challenge, you would handle it differently. That is growth. That is evidence that you have not been standing still. My beloved child, do not let temporary frustration convince you that lasting change is far away. Some doors open at the final knock. Some seeds break through the soil after the longest nights. Some prayers manifest just when hope feels stretched thin. You are in a threshold moment. Thresholds can feel uncomfortable because they are spaces between what was and what is about to be. They are not fully one thing or the other, but they are powerful. They hold anticipation. They carry momentum. Stay steady now. The habits you are building today are preparing you to sustain what is coming tomorrow. The patience you are practicing now is stabilizing the blessing ahead. The faith you are choosing in uncertainty is strengthening your capacity to handle clarity. You may not see the full breakthrough yet, but signs of alignment are already present. Peace is growing in areas that once felt chaotic. Confidence is forming where insecurity once dominated. Hope is returning where discouragement once lingered. These are indicators of proximity. Do not step back now. Do not retreat into old patterns because the wait feels long. Do not assume that because it has taken time, it will never happen. You are closer than you think. The mountain you have been climbing is not endless. The door you have been approaching is not far away. The promise you have been holding onto is not out of reach. Continue forward with steady faith. Even if your steps feel small, they are carrying you into position. Even if the view remains partially obscured, you are advancing. I would not have brought you this far to abandon you before the breakthrough. Hold on a little longer. Stay aligned. Stay attentive. Stay willing. Because the shift you have been waiting for is nearer than your doubts would allow you to believe. And when it unfolds, you will realize that every step, every struggle, every moment of perseverance was leading you here. My beloved child, there have been forces that hoped you would miss this moment. Not because you are weak, but because you are valuable. Not because you are insignificant, but because you carry purpose. Distraction often intensifies when destiny draws near. Confusion grows louder when clarity is close. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to awaken your awareness. The enemy of your growth rarely announces itself openly. It does not always appear as something obviously harmful. More often, it shows up as busyness, as endless scrolling, as overcommitment, as mental noise that keeps you from sitting still long enough to hear my whisper. If distraction can keep you occupied, it can keep you from alignment. There were moments when you almost drowned out the tug in your heart because you were overwhelmed by other voices, opinions, expectations, demands. You nearly convinced yourself that the stirring inside you was just imagination. But I preserved it. I kept it alive within you. Think of a candle in a windy room. The flame flickers when gusts pass through, but it does not go out because it is shielded. I have been shielding the calling on your life, even when distractions tried to extinguish it. You may look back and realize there were seasons when you were spiritually tired. Seasons when you felt distant from clarity. Seasons when you questioned whether you were still on the right path. Yet here you are, still seeking, still listening, still willing. That persistence is not accidental. The enemy wanted you discouraged enough to stop trying, distracted enough to stop listening, doubtful enough to stop believing. But you are still here, still open, still reaching. And that is victory. Understand this. Your attention is powerful. Where you place it shapes your direction. If you focus only on noise, you will feel confused. If you focus on fear, you will feel hesitant. But when you focus on my voice, even briefly, peace begins to rise. That is why this moment matters. It is a reclaiming of your attention. It is a turning of your focus back toward alignment. You are not naive for believing I guide you. You are not foolish for sensing deeper purpose. You are not weak for needing reassurance. You are human, and you are learning. Distraction loses its power when you recognize it. When you pause and say, "This is not leading me toward growth," you regain control. When you choose stillness over constant stimulation, clarity returns. There have been battles you did not even know you were fighting. Internal battles for your mindset, for your home, for your focus. And you have endured them more bravely than you realize. My beloved child, the fact that you did not miss this message is evidence that you are protected. The fact that you are still sensitive to my voice is evidence that your spirit remains open. You were meant to hear this. The distractions that tried to pull you away did not succeed. The discouragement that tried to silence you did not win. The confusion that tried to cloud your vision did not last. You are still standing in awareness. And now that you see more clearly, you can move forward with intention. You can guard your attention. You can choose what influences your thoughts. You can cultivate environments that support your growth rather than scatter your focus. This is not about paranoia. It is about mindfulness. You are stepping into a season where clarity matters, where alignment matters, where your yes matters, and nothing that tried to derail you has the final say. You are here. You are listening. You are ready. That alone is proof that what was meant for you cannot be easily stolen. I have kept you through every distraction. I have guarded the calling within you, and I will continue to guide you as you walk forward with renewed focus and strengthened resolve. My beloved child, I am calling you higher. Not higher in status, not higher in pride, but higher in perspective, higher in trust, higher in the way you see yourself and the life unfolding before you. For a long time, you have been viewing certain situations from ground level. When you stand too close to something, It can feel overwhelming. Problems appear larger. Obstacles seem immovable. Emotions cloud your judgment. But when you rise above, even slightly, your view changes. Imagine standing at the base of a mountain. The climb looks impossible. The slope seems steep. The peak feels unreachable. But if you were lifted into the air and could see the entire landscape, you would notice pathways you could not see from below. You would see that the mountain has ridges, curves, and gradual inclines that make the journey manageable. I am inviting you to rise above the limited view you have been holding. You have sometimes defined yourself by your past experiences. You have allowed past failures to shape your expectations. You have carried old labels that no longer fit who you are becoming. It is ground-level thinking. Higher thinking recognizes growth. Higher thinking sees possibility. Higher thinking trusts that your past prepared you but does not imprison you. I am stretching your vision beyond what feels comfortable. You have grown used to surviving. Now I am calling you to thrive. You have grown used to playing small to avoid criticism. Now I am inviting you to step into fuller expression. You have grown used to expecting disappointment. Now I am teaching you to anticipate alignment. This elevation begins in your mind. The way you speak to yourself matters. The assumptions you make about your future matter. When you consistently expect struggle, you will interpret neutral moments as threats. But when you begin to expect guidance, you will recognize opportunity more easily. You are not meant to stay confined to the limitations you once accepted. Those limitations were shaped by fear, by comparison, by misunderstanding. They were not shaped by me. I created you with capacity. Capacity to learn. Capacity to leave. Capacity to love deeply. Capacity to build something meaningful. You have only begun to tap into what you are capable of. Rising higher does not mean abandoning humility. It means aligning with truth. It means acknowledging that you are equipped for more than you allowed yourself to believe. There may be people in your life who are comfortable with the smaller version of you. They may not understand your growth. They may prefer the version of you that did not challenge their expectations. But you are not responsible for staying small to keep others comfortable. Growth sometimes requires distance from old patterns. It requires courage to think differently, to choose differently, to speak differently. My beloved child, when I call you higher, I also strengthen you for the climb. You do not rise by your own strength alone. You rise by trusting my guidance. You rise by letting go of limiting beliefs. You rise by choosing faith when doubt whispers. Higher ground offers clarity. It reveals connections you could not see before. It helps you respond rather than react. It steadies your emotions because you are no longer consumed by every small disruption. I am lifting your perspective so you can see your life through possibility rather than fear. You are not meant to remain at the level of your old insecurities. You are not meant to define yourself by your lowest moments. You are being elevated into a more confident, more aligned, more aware version of yourself. Take the step upward. Release the small thinking. Release the narrative that you are limited. Release the belief that you must shrink to survive. You were not created to crawl through life. You were created to walk with strength. And as you rise higher in perspective, you will realize that many of the things that once intimidated you are smaller than they appeared. Come up higher, my beloved child. I am guiding you there. My beloved child, in order to step fully into what is ahead, there are things you cannot carry with you. Not everything that has been part of your past is meant to be part of your future. Some weights once served a purpose. Some attachments once felt necessary. Some coping mechanisms once protected you. But as you grow, what once protected you can begin to restrict you. You have been holding on to certain pains longer than you realize. Old words spoken over you. Old disappointments that still sting when remembered. Old regrets that quietly replay in your thoughts. You may think carrying them keeps you cautious. You may believe remembering the hurt keeps you safe. But in truth, some of these burdens are no longer guarding you. They are limiting you. Imagine trying to climb a hill while carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Each stone represents a grudge, a regret, a fear of being hurt again. You can still climb, but every step is harder than it needs to be. Your energy drains faster. Your focus shifts from the beauty of the climb to the strain of the weight. My beloved child, I am inviting you to set some stones down. Forgiveness does not mean pretending something did not hurt. It does not mean approving of wrong actions. It means choosing not to let the pain define your direction any longer. It means refusing to carry bitterness into a future that requires freedom. There are also expectations you must release. Expectations about how your life should have unfolded by now. Expectations that shaped my comparison. Expectations built on timelines that were never mine to begin with. When you cling tightly to a specific outcome, you may miss the beauty of what is unfolding differently. Let go of the rigid picture. Trust that I see beyond what you imagined. There are relationships you may need to hold more loosely. Not every connection is meant to continue at the same depth forever. Some people were part of your healing season, not your building season. Releasing them does not erase gratitude. It simply acknowledges change. You are entering a season that requires lightness. Lightness in your heart. Lightness in your thinking. Lightness in your expectations. The new path ahead is not meant to be walked under the shadow of old wounds. Ask yourself honestly, what thoughts are you replaying that no longer serve you? What fears are you claiming to because they feel familiar? What identities are you holding on to that were shaped by survival rather than truth? You are not who you were when you first experienced that hurt. You are not the same person who made that mistake. You have grown. You have learned. You have evolved. But growth requires space. Just as a tree must shed old leaves to make room for new ones, you must release what is finished. If the tree clung desperately to every leaf from the past season, it would block new growth from emerging. Release does not always happen in one dramatic moment. Sometimes it is gradual. A quiet decision to stop replaying the memory. A conscious choice to speak kindly to yourself instead of critically. A willingness to forgive a little more each day. You do not have to force it, but you do have to participate in it. My beloved child, what you are stepping into cannot be carried by a heart weighed down with unresolved pain. The freedom ahead requires emotional space. Lay it down. Lay down the resentment. Lay down the self-blame. Lay down the fear of repeating the past. Lay down the need to control outcomes. I am not asking you to forget your story. I am asking you to trust that your story does not end with the pain. There is more ahead. And as you release what you cannot carry forward, you will feel something shift within you. A new sense of peace. A new openness. A new readiness. You are not losing anything by letting go. You are making room. And what is coming next requires open hands, not clenched fists. Trust me with what you release. I will replace it with strength, clarity, and freedom. My beloved child, I'm aligning the right people in your life. You have tried, at times, to force connections. You have tried to hold on to relationships that were slowly drifting. You have wondered why some people who once felt so close have grown distant. And you have questioned why certain new connections seem to appear unexpectedly. But understand this. Not every shift in relationships is loss. Some are divine rearrangements. There are people assigned to different seasons of your life. Some walk with you during healing. Some walk with you during growth. Some walk with you during elevation. And not all are meant to travel every mile of your journey. When someone steps out of your daily life, it does not always mean failure. It can mean transition. It can mean that what you were meant to exchange in that season hath been completed. You sometimes take relational changes personally. You ask yourself, did I do something wrong? But not every distance is caused by wrongdoing. Sometimes it is alignment. Imagine a train moving from one destination to another. At each station, some passengers step off while others step on. The train continues forward. It will not stop its journey because passengers change. It moves toward its next destination with the people meant to be on board for that leg of the journey. Your life moves in seasons like that. There are individuals I am positioning around you who will understand your growth. They will not feel threatened by it. They will not try to pull you back into who you used to be. They will encourage the person you are becoming. You may not recognize them immediately. Sometimes alignment begins quietly. A conversation that feels easy. A shared value that creates connection. A mutual respect that builds naturally. Do not rush these bonds. Let them unfold organically. At the same time, there may be relationships you need to hold with more boundaries. Boundaries are not rejection. They are protection. They allow you to love without losing yourself. They create space for healthy interaction. You are not meant to carry everyone's expectations. You are not responsible for keeping every connection intact at the cost of your own peace. As you grow, your circle may shift. Your conversations may deepen. Your priorities may change. And those who are aligned with your next season will adapt with you. Trust the transitions. There were times when you felt alone, when you wondered if anyone truly understood what you were walking through. But loneliness does not mean abandonment. It often precedes alignment. It creates space for the right connections to enter. You do not need a crowd. You need alignment. I am guiding people toward you whose strengths complement yours. People who will speak truth with kindness. People who will challenge you without belittling you. People who will celebrate your growth rather than compete with it. You are not meant to walk your entire journey in isolation. Community is part of your design. But healthy community requires mutual growth and respect. Release the fear that letting go of certain connections will leave you empty. Trust that I fill the spaces I clear. Sometimes, the reason you have felt tension in certain relationships is because you have outgrown the dynamic. That is not arrogance. It is maturity. Allow space for what is new. My beloved child, you are stepping into a season of refined connection. Quality over quantity. Depth over surface. Alignment over convenience. You not chase relationships out of fear of being alone. Stand confidently in who you are becoming, and let aligned connections recognize you. I am orchestrating meetings you have not yet imagined. Conversations that will shift your thinking. Partnerships that will strengthen your journey. Trust me with your relationships. As I align the right people around you, you will feel less drained and more supported. Less misunderstood and more seen. Less burdened and more strengthened. You are not losing what you need. You are being positioned with who belongs in your next chapter. My beloved child, the whisper will become clearer as you walk. You have been waiting for complete certainty before taking your next step. You have wanted every detail mapped out, every risk minimized, every outcome guaranteed. But clarity does not always arrive before movement. Often, it unfolds because of movement. Think of walking through a dimly lit path at night with a small lantern in your hand. The lantern does not illuminate the entire road. It reveals only a few steps ahead. But as you take those steps, more of the path becomes visible. If you refuse to move until you see the destination clearly, you remain standing in the dark. I do not withhold clarity to confuse you. I reveal it progressively to build your trust. There are things you cannot understand from where you are standing right now. Not because you are incapable, but because perspective comes with position. When you step forward, your vantage point changes. What once looked uncertain begins to make sense. You have already experienced this in your life. There were decisions you hesitated to make, moments when you felt unsure. Yet after you moved forward, you realized it was the right direction. The clarity came after the courage. This is how faith grows. If I gave you the full blueprint of your future, you might feel overwhelmed. You might try to control details that are meant to unfold naturally. Instead, I guide you step by step. I strengthen you gradually. I reveal enough for obedience, not everything for comfort. My beloved child, you do not need to know how the entire story ends to trust the author. Right now, you may have pieces of insight. You may sense that something needs to change, but you do not see exactly how it will unfold. That is normal. Growth rarely presents itself in perfect clarity from the beginning. The whisper you hear, the inner knowing, the gentle nudge, will grow steadier as you respond to it. When you ignore it, it feels distant. When you honor it, it feels stronger. It is like tuning into a frequency. If you move away from the signal, static increases. But when you adjust your position toward alignment, the signal sharpens. Your obedience is that adjustment. Each time you choose trust over hesitation, the static reduces. Each time you align your action with the peace you feel, your understanding deepens. You are not expected to be flawless in this process. You may make small mistakes. You may misinterpret a step. But I am patient. I redirect gently. I correct without condemnation. The goal is not perfection. It is relationship. As you walk with me, you begin to recognize my tone more easily. You distinguish between fear and guidance. You sense when peace confirms your direction. There will come a moment when you look back and realize how much clearer everything has become. The confusion you once felt will seem distant. The doubts that once dominated your thoughts will have softened. But that clarity will not come from standing still. It will come from stepping forward. You do not need absolute certainty to begin. You need willingness. The whisper is enough for now. Move with it. Trust that as you respond, more will be revealed. Trust that as you act, insight will increase. Trust that as you draw closer, my voice will feel more familiar. I am not hiding the path from you. I am unfolding it in rhythm with your growth. Take the next step, and watch how the whisper becomes unmistakable. My beloved child, your sensitivity is not a weakness. It is a gift. For a long time, you have questioned it. You have wondered why you feel things so deeply. Why certain words linger in your heart longer than they seem to for others. Why environments affect you so strongly. Why you can sense tension in a room before anyone speaks. You have even tried to toughen yourself, to numb certain emotions, to become less affected. But I form you with depth on purpose. Sensitivity is the soil where compassion grows. It is the doorway to discernment. It allows you to notice what others overlook. It helps you respond with care rather than indifference. It is not something to be ashamed of. It is something to steward wisely. The problem has never been your sensitivity. The problem hath been how others misunderstood it. Some may have told you that you are too much, too emotional, too reflective, too intuitive. And over time, you began to believe that being deeply aware was a flaw. You tried to compress parts of yourself to fit into spaces that preferred surface-level interaction. But I did not create you for surface living. Your ability to feel deeply allows you to love deeply. Your awareness allows you to discern motives. Your intuition allows you to sense when something is aligned and when something is not. However, sensitivity without boundaries can become overwhelming. When you absorb everyone's emotions without filtering them, you become drained. When you take responsibility for everyone's feelings, you become exhausted. You were not designed to carry what does not belong to you. Learning to honor your sensitivity means learning to pair it with wisdom. It means recognizing when to step back. It means distinguishing between empathy and overextension. It means protecting your peace without closing your heart. Think of your sensitivity like a finely tuned instrument. In the right hands, it creates beautiful music. But if handled roughly, it can produce dissonance. You must treat your heart with care. My beloved child, your sensitivity allows you to hear my whisper more clearly. It allows you to notice subtle shifts in direction. It allows you to recognize when peace is present and when it is absent. What others may call overthinking is often your spirit processing deeply. What others may dismiss as intuition is often discernment. But discernment grows stronger when you slow down enough to listen. Do not suppress the part of you that feels strongly. Refine it. Guide it. Anchor it in truth. There are times when you have felt overwhelmed by your emotions. You wonder why certain situations affected you so intensely. But those moments were teaching you about your own boundaries. They were showing you where you need rest, where you need clarity, where you need protection. You are not fragile because you feel deeply. You are aware. Awareness is powerful when balanced with grounding. When you sense tension, pause before reacting. When you feel emotional weight, ask yourself whether it belongs to you. When you detect misalignment, trust that inner signal rather than dismissing it to please others. I am teaching you to see your sensitivity as strength. You are not meant to become hardened to survive. You are meant to remain open, but wise. Compassionate but discerning. Gentle but steady. There will be spaces where your depth is appreciated, where your insight is valued, where your emotional intelligence becomes a source of guidance for others. Do not hide the way I made you. Instead, steward it carefully. Your sensitivity is one of the ways I speak to you. It is one of the ways I guide you. And when you learn to honor it without being ruled by it, you will walk with greater clarity, greater peace, and greater confidence in who you are becoming. My beloved child, this is a turning point. It may not look dramatic from the outside. There may be no announcement, no visible marker that says, everything changes here. But within you, something is shifting. The way you think, the way you respond, the way you see your future. These internal shifts are signs that you are crossing from one chapter into another. Yearning points are often quiet. They happen when you finally decide you will no longer tolerate what diminishes you. They happen when you choose healing over hiding. They happen when you stop waiting for perfect conditions and begin moving with steady faith. You may not even realize how significant this moment is. But years from now, you may look back and say, that was when everything began to change. The decisions you are making now about your mindset, your boundaries, your focus, are shaping your direction. You are no longer reacting to life in the same way. You are becoming more intentional, more aware, more aligned. That is not accidental. For a long time, you survived. You adapted to circumstances. You navigated challenges as they came. But now, you are beginning to lead your life instead of merely responding to it. There's power in that shift. Imagine a river that has been flowing in one direction for years. Its path is familiar. Its curves are predictable. But then something alters its course. The river begins carving a new path through the landscape. At first, the change is subtle. But over time, the entire terrain transforms. You are in that moment of redirection. The old patterns that once defined your days are losing their grip. The fears that once felt immovable are weakening. The doubts that once dominated your thoughts are being challenged by truth. Turning points require courage because they demand commitment. It is easier to drift than to decide. It is easier to repeat old habits than to create new ones. But you are choosing differently now. You are choosing growth. There may still be moments of uncertainty. You may occasionally feel tempted to slip back into what is familiar. But even that temptation reveals how far you have come. You are no longer unaware. You are no longer asleep to your own potential. You are awake. And awakening changes everything. My beloved child, do not minimize what is happening within you. Internal decisions create external transformation. The quiet resolve forming in your heart is more powerful than you realize. This turning point is not about perfection. It is about direction. You may still stumble. You may still have days when you question yourself. But you are no longer content to remain where you were. You have tasted clarity. You have felt alignment. And now, you cannot unknow what you know. The awareness propels you forward. As you stand in this moment, I want you to recognize the strength within you. You have endured enough to know what no longer serves you. You have learned enough to discern what aligns with your future. You have grown enough to trust that you are not alone in the process. Turning points often feel subtle at first, but they carry immense impact. The way you speak to yourself will shift. The standards you set will shift. The opportunities you accept will shift. And slowly, your entire life will begin to reflect this new internal alignment. You are not going back. You are stepping forward. This is the pivot. The quiet, steady pivot toward a more intentional, more aligned, more courageous version of yourself. Embrace it. Lean into it. Because this turning point is not just a moment. It is the beginning of a new trajectory. And I am guiding you through it with unwavering presence. My beloved child, peace is your confirmation. In a world that often pushes you with urgency and noise, my guidance carries a different signature. It does not rush you into panic. It does not force you through fear. It settles gently like calm water after a storm. But calm is not weakness. It is assurance. You have been trained to look for dramatic signs, to expect clarity to come with intensity. But often, the clearest confirmation I give you is peace. Peace does not mean the absence of questions. It means the absence of chaos within those questions. You may still be unsure about every detail of your future. You may still see challenges ahead. But when you consider the path I am leading you toward, something within you steadies. Your breathing slows. Your thoughts soften. Even if your mind raises concerns, your spirit feels anchored. That anchoring is me. Imagine standing at a crossroads. One path looks impressive but leaves you feeling tense and unsettled. The other path feels simpler, maybe even less glamorous, but your heart feels calm when you imagine walking it. That calm is not accidental. It is alignment. I do not guide you through constant anxiety. I do not require you to ignore red flags or silence your discernment. When something is truly from me, even if it stretches you, it carries underlying peace. Stretching and stress are not the same. Stretching expands you. Stress compresses you. When I stretch you, you may feel challenged, but you also feel alive. When something compresses you, you feel drained, confused, pressured. Learn to recognize the difference. There were times in your past when you moved forward without peace. You felt rushed. You felt pressured by external expectations. And later, you realized that the unease you ignored was a warning. Now you are more aware. Peace is not always loud. It is subtle. It is steady. It whispers rather than shouts. But it remains consistent. Even when circumstances fluctuate, peace holds its ground. My beloved child, if you are constantly agitated about a decision, pause. If you feel compelled by fear of missing out rather than genuine alignment, wait. Peace does not manipulate you. It invites you. You may wonder, what if I confuse comfort with peace? Comfort avoids growth. Peace supports growth. Comfort keeps you in what is familiar. Peace accompanies you into what is new. When you think about stepping into your next season, notice what happens within you. If there is a deep sense of rightness, even mixed with nervousness, that is often my confirmation. Courage and peace can coexist. I am not trying to trick you. I am not hiding direction behind confusion. I guide through clarity, even when that clarity unfolds gradually. Peace is like a compass needle. It may shift slightly as you move, but it always points toward alignment. Do not chase adrenaline. Do not equate chaos with progress. Some of the most powerful moves in your life will be made quietly, supported by a calm conviction that you are exactly where you are meant to be. You have been praying for confirmation. You have been asking for reassurance. Let peace answer you. When you feel it settle into your heart, do not dismiss it. Do not overanalyze it. Receive it. It is my way of saying, you are on the right path. Hold on to that peace when doubts attempt to rise. Return to it when external voices grow loud. Let it guide your decisions, your conversations, your commitments. Peace is not passive. It is powerful. And my beloved child, when you walk in peace, you walk in alignment with me. My beloved child, I am breaking the cycle. There are patterns in your life that did not begin with you. Ways of thinking, ways of reacting, ways of coping. Some were learned in childhood. Some were shaped by pain. Some were inherited through environments that did their best but did not always know better. For a long time, you moved within those patterns without questioning them. They felt normal, familiar, predictable. Even when they hurt you, they were known. And the known often feels safer than the unknown. But you are awakening now. You are noticing reactions that no longer align with who you are becoming. You are questioning beliefs that once went unchallenged. You are seeing where fear has disguised itself as wisdom, where control has disguised itself as protection, where silence has disguised itself as peace. This awareness is not accidental. It is transformation. Cycles continue when they go unexamined. They repeat when they are accepted as permanent. But the moment you recognize them, you step into the power to change them. You may have grown up watching certain dynamics unfold again and again. Conflict handled in unhealthy ways. Emotions suppressed instead of expressed. Dreams abandoned because they felt unrealistic. You may have unconsciously carried some of those habits into your own life, but you are not bound to repeat what you witnessed. Imagine a chain made of many links, each connected to the next. For generations, the chain continues unbroken. But then one link chooses to break. That single break changes the entire pattern moving forward. You are that breaking point. It takes courage to interrupt cycles. It requires self-awareness. It requires humility. It requires the willingness to say, "This stops with me." You may feel resistance from within or around you when you choose differently. When you respond calmly instead of reacting impulsively. When you communicate honestly instead of withdrawing. When you pursue growth instead of settling for survival. Change disrupts familiarity. But familiarity is not always freedom. My beloved child, you are not dishonoring your past by growing beyond it. You are honoring your future. You are creating space for healthier patterns, for deeper peace, for stronger foundations. There may be moments when you slip back into old habits. Do not condemn yourself for that. Growth is a process. The fact that you notice the slip is evidence that awareness has increased. Each time you choose differently, even in small ways, the cycle weakens. Each time you speak truth instead of silence, the chain loosens. Each time you forgive instead of resent, the pattern shifts. You are not alone in this transformation. I am strengthening your resolve. I am illuminating blind spots gently. I am giving you wisdom where confusion once ruled. The cycle of fear can end with you. The cycle of self-doubt can end with you. The cycle of settling for less can end with you. And when it does, you will not only change your own life, you will influence those around you. Your courage will become a quiet example. Your healing will create ripple effects. Breaking cycles is not loud work. It is consistent work. It is daily decisions. It is choosing awareness over autopilot. You are stronger than the patterns you inherited. You are more powerful than the habits that once controlled you. You are capable of rewriting your narrative. My beloved child, I am not only guiding you into a new season, I am guiding you into a new legacy. One built on freedom, on clarity, on intentional living. And as you continue to choose growth, the cycles that once felt permanent will lose their grip. You are not repeating the past. You are redefining the future. My beloved child, what you do next matters. Not in a way that should frighten you. Not in a way that places crushing pressure on your shoulders. But in a way that honors the power of your choices. You are not drifting through life without influence. Your decisions shape your direction. You have received clarity. You have sensed the turning point. You have recognized the cycles that needed breaking. Now you stand in a sacred space between revelation and action. Revelation without response fades. Insight without implementation weakens. But when you act on what you know, transformation deepens. I am not asking you to overhaul your entire life overnight. I am asking you to take one intentional step that aligns with what has been stirring in your heart. It might be a conversation you need to initiate. It might be a boundary you need to establish. It might be a commitment to discipline in an area you have neglected. It might be releasing a habit that no longer reflects who you are becoming. Small steps taken consistently create powerful momentum. Imagine steering a large ship. A slight adjustment in direction, barely noticeable at first, changes the final destination by miles over time. In the same way, the choices you make now will determine where you stand months and years from today. You not underestimate the impact of consistency. You sometimes wait for motivation before you act. You tell yourself you will move when you feel fully ready. but readiness often follows action. Confidence grows through participation. Courage is not a feeling you wait for. It is a decision you practice. There will always be reasons to delay, reasons to postpone growth, reasons to justify comfort. But comfort is not the same as peace. Comfort can keep you stagnant. Peace propels you forward. My beloved child, you have come too far to settle now. You are aware of your patterns. You are aware of your potential. You are aware of the door that has been quietly opening. Awareness creates responsibility. Do not let fear disguise itself as patience. Do not let procrastination disguise itself as wisdom. There is a difference between waiting on my timing and avoiding necessary action. When the time is right, peace accompanies movement. And you have felt at peace. Act gently but decisively. You do not need to announce your changes to the world. You do not need validation from others to begin. This next step is between you and me. Trust that even imperfect action is better than endless hesitation. If you stumble, I will steady you. If you misjudge a detail, I will redirect you. You are not walking a tightrope alone, but you must move. Growth requires participation. Alignment requires cooperation. Ask yourself honestly, what is one step I know I need to take? Not the most dramatic one, not the most overwhelming one, the next faithful one. Take it. The life you are stepping into will not be built in a single moment. It will be built in repeated choices, repeated courage, repeated alignment. You are not powerless. You are not stuck. You are not waiting for permission. You are being invited into responsibility. And responsibility is not a burden when it is aligned with purpose. It is empowering. My beloved child, your future is not decided by fate alone. It is shaped by the choices you make in partnership with my guidance. What you do next matters because you matter. So move forward. Not rushed. Not anxious. But intentional. Take the step. And trust that as you do, I am strengthening the ground beneath your feet. My beloved child, I have gone before you. You are not stepping into unknown territory alone. Even when the path feels unfamiliar to you, it is not unfamiliar to me. I stand in your tomorrow just as surely as I stand in your today. There is no moment you will encounter where my presence has not already been. This is what you must understand when fear tries to whisper about the future. You imagine scenarios. You project possibilities. You wonder how you will handle situations that have not even happened yet. But you are trying to solve tomorrow's challenges with today's strength. When tomorrow comes, it will not arrive empty. It will arrive carrying the grace assigned to it. Think of a parent walking ahead of a child through a forest trail. The child may not see every twist and turn. They may not know where the uneven ground is or where the branches hang low. But the parent, walking slightly ahead, clears obstacles, watches for danger, and chooses the safest route. That is how I move with you. When you step into a new season, I am already there. When you enter a conversation that feels intimidating, I am present in it. When you face a responsibility that stretches you, I am within your strength. You fear the unknown because you cannot control it. But you were never meant to control everything. You were meant to trust. Trust is not blind optimism. It is confidence in my character. I do not lead you into spaces unprepared. I do not call you toward growth without equipping you for it. Every lesson you have learned up to this point has been part of your preparation. Even the painful ones. Even the confusing ones. You think some experiences were random, but they were training. The patience you develop during waiting seasons will serve you in leadership moments. The empathy you gain through heartbreak will shape how you connect with others. The resilience you build through setbacks will anchor you in future challenges. Nothing has been wasted. When you look ahead and see uncertainty, remember that I see structure. When you see fog, I see landscape. When you feel unprepared, I see potential matured through experience. There will be moments in your next season where you are tempted to doubt yourself again. Old insecurities may try to resurface, but do not let them define you. Those insecurities belong to an older version of you. You are stepping forward as someone strengthened. And even when you encounter situations you did not expect, you will discover strength you did not know you had. That strength is not accidental. It is my presence within you. My beloved child, you are not walking into a trap. You are walking into a promise. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into alignment. The future is not something you must fear. It is something you will grow into, day by day. You do not need to see every detail in advance. You only need to remember that wherever you go, I am already there. When doors open, I am in the room beyond them. When opportunities arise, I am within the opportunity. When challenges appear, I am in the solution forming alongside them. You are covered. You are guided. You are not behind schedule, and you are not wandering without direction. The path ahead has been walked by me before you ever arrived at it. So move forward without trembling. Move forward without assuming disaster. Move forward knowing that you are supported in ways you cannot always perceive. I have gone before you, and I will continue walking with you, step by step, into everything that is unfolding. My beloved child, do not second-guess this. You have come too far in awareness to return to confusion. You have felt the peace. You have sensed the alignment. You have recognized the shift within you. And yet, I know how your mind works. I know how quickly doubt tries to revisit you once you begin to move forward. Second-guessing often sounds wise. It disguises itself as caution. It whispers, "Are you sure?" It suggests that reconsidering everything will keep you safe. But there is a difference between healthy reflection and paralyzing doubt. Healthy reflection clarifies. Paralyzing doubt distorts. You have already reflected. You have already prayed. You have already wrestled with the questions. What you are feeling now is not lack of clarity. It is fear of stepping fully into it. There will always be alternative paths. There will always be hypothetical outcomes you could imagine. If you wait for a decision that carries zero risk and zero uncertainty, you will wait forever. As Boyd, trust must outweigh analysis. Imagine standing at the edge of a diving board. You have checked the water. You know it is safe. You have seen others dive. You have prepared yourself. But if you stand there too long, hesitation grows. The longer you delay, the more intimidating the jump feels. The water has not changed. Only your thoughts have. In the same way, the alignment you felt earlier has not disappeared. The peace you sensed has not vanished. What is changing is the volume of your internal dialogue. My beloved child, do not let overthinking steal what obedience is trying to build. You are not reckless for trusting me. You are not naive for believing that clarity came to you for a reason. You are not impulsive for acting on what had been confirmed in your spirit. Second-guessing often stems from the desire to avoid regret. You fear choosing the wrong door. You fear missing a better opportunity. You fear that if you commit to one path, you close others forever. But understand this. When you move in alignment, even detours become direction. I am able to redirect you gently if needed. I am able to adjust your course without condemning you. You are not walking on a narrow thread where one misstep ruins everything. Release the pressure to make the perfect choice. Focus on making the aligned choice. You have already done the inner work. You have broken cycles. You have elevated your perspective. You have released burdens. Do not retreat into old habits of self-doubt now. Confidence does not mean arrogance. It means settled trust. When you feel tempted to revisit the same decision repeatedly, pause. Ask yourself, am I seeking wisdom or am I feeding fear? Wisdom will feel steady. Fear will feel urgent and restless. Return to peace. Return to the original clarity you experienced. Remember the calm that settled in your spirit. That was not accidental. That was confirmation. You do not need to explain your path to everyone. You do not need universal approval. Your alignment with me is enough. My beloved child, growth requires commitment. Once you step forward, keep walking. Do not constantly look over your shoulder wondering if you should turn back. Forward is where your development continues. Trust that you heard me. Trust that you recognize peace correctly. Trust that you are capable of moving without endlessly revisiting the same crossroad. This is not the moment to shrink back. This is the moment to stand firm in what you already know. Do not second-guess the clarity I have given you. Walk in it, and let your steady steps silence the noise of doubt. My beloved child, you were meant to hear this. Out of all the noise, all the distractions, all the countless messages that pass before your eyes each day, this one reached you. Not by accident, not by random chance, but by design. I've been guiding you toward this moment long before you realized it. You may think it was just timing, just curiosity, just another video, another message, another thought. But there are no small coincidences in a life that is being led. I know how to reach you. I know how to speak in ways that bypass your defenses and settle directly into your spirit. There was a reason your heart posed here. There was a reason certain words resonated more deeply than others. A reason you felt seen. A reason you sensed that this was personal. Because it is. You have walked through confusion and come into clarity. You have faced fear and chosen courage. You have released weight and embraced growth. None of that happened in isolation. It happened in response to my gentle guidance, step by step. And now, as you stand at this near-final moment, you may begin to see the pattern. The tug you felt was real. The door you sensed was opening was real. The peace that confirmed your direction was real. The cycles you are breaking are real. The elevation of your thinking is real. This entire journey has been intentional. My beloved child, you were not meant to drift through this season unaware. You were meant to awaken. You were meant to recognize that something new is unfolding. You were meant to understand that your life is not random, not scattered, not forgotten. You are positioned. Even the challenges you faced before this message prepared you to receive it. If you had encountered these words months ago, you might have dismissed them. If you had encountered them years ago, they might have confused you. But now, they resonate. At His timing. There are moments in life when everything converges. Preparation meets opportunity. Awareness meets decision. Faith meets action. And when that convergence happens, it feels almost sacred. This is one of those moments. You are not here by accident. The growth you have experienced has brought you to the edge of a new chapter. The awareness you have gained has sharpened your discernment. The courage you have practiced has strengthened your resolve. And now you are ready to move fully into what is next. Do not underestimate the significance of recognizing that you were meant to hear this. When you understand that a message was sent to you personally, you begin to carry it differently. You begin to treat your life with greater intention. You begin to respond rather than react. You are not wandering. You are being led. You are not behind. You are on schedule. You are not lost. You are guided. Everything we have walked through together in these moments has been building toward clarity, toward alignment, toward confidence. And now, as you step forward, you do so with awareness. You know that your life is purposeful. You know that your growth is intentional. You know that my voice is accessible. Carry that knowing with you, because what is about to unfold in your life is not separate from this moment. It is the continuation of it. You were meant to hear this, and you were meant to respond. My beloved child, we have come to the end of this message, but not to the end of your journey. You now understand that this was not random. It was not casual. It was not accidental. I sent this to you privately because I wanted your heart attentive. I wanted your spirit awakened. I wanted you to recognize that I am actively guiding your steps. You have felt the tug. You have seen the door. You have sensed the shift. You have stood at the turning point. And now, you move forward differently. Carry this truth with you. You are led. You are protected. You are equipped. You are not stepping into uncertainty alone. I have gone before you. I walk beside you. I remain within you. When doubt tries to return, remember the peace you felt here. When fear attempts to whisper, remember the clarity that settled into your heart. When distractions try to pull you away, remember that you were meant to hear this. Do not miss what I am doing in your life now. Respond with courage. Walk with intention. Choose alignment again and again. This was not just a message. It was a divine interruption, a loving redirection, a sacred reminder that your life is unfolding with purpose. And now I bless you. May your steps be steady. May your mind be clear. May your heart remain soft yet strong. May doors open that align with your calling. May cycles remain broken. May peace confirm your path. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not behind. You are mine. And as you continue walking in what I have revealed, I will continue revealing more. Amen. And now, my beloved child, as this word has strengthened you, I am inviting you into something sacred. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, with a PayPal link waiting in the description, and even in the QR code within this video, you are placing seed into living soil. I have declared that those who sow generously will reap generously, and your gift becomes light that reaches someone still lost in darkness. This is your moment to say, Father, let my seed carry your whisper further. Your giving becomes oil in the lamp, fire on the altar, bread in the wilderness for a weary soul. Do not see this as supporting a channel. See it as advancing my voice to hearts I am calling. There are lives that will awaken because you chose to act. As you release your seed, I release blessing over your obedience, your household, and your provision. What you place in my hands multiplies beyond what you imagine. Step into this holy partnership now. Sow boldly, and let heaven move through your generosity.